Welcome to SEC Football Live here on the 440 Sports Network, brought to you by Tennessee Brew Works, a great local, amazing craft beer brewery here in Middle Tennessee. That is Trey Wallace of OutKick. I am Braden Gall. Trey, good to see you, sir. Is that a new home office I see?
No, not yet. It was the same one, but we're getting there.
Okay, all right.
We're getting
we got a lot
a week and a half.
All right. Good to hear. I'll meet you at Tennessee Brew Works. We'll do a live show there. We're gonna have a good time. It's right downtown, by the way. The beer is spectacular. The beer is amazing. The food is even better. The live music is great. The location is wonderful. All good things. And guess what on the show today? Yes, there's going to be a quick conversation around an NCAA violation. However, it's an NCAA violation conversation about a player being on the field. Then we're going to talk about 10 players on the field because Trey. Guess what we get to do today on the show? We are not talking about Congress. We are not talking about playoff expansion. We are not talking about NIL. We're going to talk about 5 quarterback battles, which I cannot remember the last time the SEC had 5 legitimate quarterback battles at a bunch of like really good programs with good teams. And I am fascinated by what's taking place. You want to know why? Because training camp is open, my guy, Trey.
We're here. Finally, we made it. Football right around the corner. Thank goodness. It's going to be interesting. I was actually went on campus to Tennessee yesterday and heard old Heupel. I was told by a birdie that something might be said about the NCAA and whatnot, and then Faizon and MacIntyre were speaking. Whatever, we'll get into it. But, it was good to get on a campus. So get used to it, Tennessee, and then I'm about to start invading Vanderbilt camp. Starting soon.
Well, we're going to talk Vanderbilt and we're going to talk Tennessee. We're going to talk Arkansas. We're going to talk Florida, and we're going to talk Alabama. So we got 5 major quarterback battles to get to. If there's any other developments in camp that you're looking forward to, storylines, we'll get to that. But we're going to focus on the quarterback battles today. But we do have to start at the University of Tennessee with the suspension of Arion Carter, star linebacker, veteran linebacker, who he signed with an agent and took a flight, and for $427. Again, if you remember this, he battled through injury, and then sort of as he declared for the draft, he was kind of going through the process. I think he either re-aggravated it or learned he needed surgery, and so then therefore took care of the injury. And when he did that, he decided, no, I'm going to come back, and he paid back the $427. But it is an NCAA violation, according to the rules. Level 3, Tennessee reported it quickly. It was originally a 3-game suspension. Now it's a 2-game suspension. This is one of those rules where it is very clear that he broke the rule, but we all kind of agree that the rule is stupid. It feels a lot like Todd Gurley when he signed autographs for himself, his own signature. It was technically against the rules, but it was a 4-game suspension. Also, there are vibrate. You could turn, your phones on vibrate. You could do that. You boomer.
I told you what was going on. I know. I am. It actually is on vibrate, but my computer, I don't know how to turn the computer to vibrate. It's linked.
Just as long as your microphone is turned on, that's all that matters.
Yeah, don't blame me.
All right, here was Josh Heupel at his press conference yesterday.
He is the leader of this program, and he's earned the right to be the leader of this program. The ruling that came out from the NCAA, the 2-game suspension, I truly believe is bullshit. You look at the landscape of college football, the rules from NIL, everything. I think the ruling is completely outdated. And disappointed for him and for us in the result of that ruling.
All right, so my first reaction to this is I totally agree with Josh Heupel and everything you said there, but the rule is the rule, and unfortunately you kind of have to follow the rule. I think we need to change the rule. I think he is correct that the rule is outdated. I think he's right to say all of this stuff in a modern era of NIL and pay for play, that like a $400, like we need a window of time where players can talk to agents, visit with agents, maybe even agree to terms with an agent, and then a deadline where you step back from that and you go, hey, we're going to go, I'm coming back to college. And so I think that I don't disagree with Josh. Now, I will say this. Using the bullshit felt very premeditated. It felt like the guy at church camp who never cusses trying to intentionally cuss for effect a little bit? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I do know what I'm saying. You're saying, and I knew the question was going to get asked about the NCAA, so I was like, all right, I'm going to ride over to campus, see what's up. Yeah, like I agree on that part, but then I also agree with his messaging. Like I think that the rule, there's no wiggle room in the rule. That's what I have a problem with. I'm sorry. And then at the same time,
that one was me.
I think whatever. I think also, buddy, that when you have a rule in place and you don't have a month essentially to kind of figure out if things are not going to go your way, like I would like for them to do something where if you get to the Senior Bowl spot, if this makes sense as a timeline wise, and you don't have a decision about what you want to do, give you the opportunity to go back. It's not like Arion Carter, Braden, decided to get out of the NFL draft process a month before the draft. Like This all happened within a 3 to 4 week period. So for that part, I feel for Arion Carter, and he figured out that he needed foot surgery. And so, and he would have lost a lot of stock. So, so the rule is bad. I don't like the rule. I think that they need to change the rule. I think that there needs to be a grace period. And by the way, save me with the, I'm going to quote Heupel bullshit by saying that, he broke rules by hiring an NFL agent. Hey, everybody out there, all these players have agents. They might not just have like NFL next to them, but they all have agents. So, and by the way, there have been worse rules broken in the last 9 minutes that we've been on this show that Arion Carter did in the minute second of taking a $427 plane ticket.
And they also all, like Tennessee also did exactly what you want a school to do, which is say, hey, put her hand up, be accounted for, say we did this thing wrong, we're trying to do it. Now, the 3-game suspension, which is, look, they play Furman week 1, they play Georgia Tech week 2, they play Kennesaw State week 3. The 2-game suspension might as well be a 3-game suspension. You don't need them for Kennesaw State. So, like, unfortunately, the 2-game suspension is the real thing here because Georgia Tech's the real game. Georgia Tech's the actual interesting matchup. Now, I think Tennessee is a favorite in that game, but it's going to be an interesting game early on in the season between, two programs that have a little bit of history. If you go back and look, former SEC champion Georgia Tech. So look, I think we all agree it's a dumb rule. It's a stupid rule. It's one of those rules that needs adjusting. People need to look at it, use some common sense. But I like if the rule is on the books and you broke the rule and you admit to breaking the rule, like I think it's okay for fans to be upset about the ruling, but you kind of have to take the medicine, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with taking the medicine part, brother, but I also look at it and say, okay, that they keep harping on, he took money from an agent. It was $400, man. Like, stop with the nonsense. And then the rule is so outdated in a sense of, again, like there's no process here. And then Tennessee, by the way, once they knew he was coming back, they immediately reported this to the NCAA. They weren't trying to hide it. He could have hit it. Yeah. Like, I knew that he was going to, but I didn't go out and rat. Yeah. So they could have hit it and say, I don't know what you're talking about, a plane ticket. What?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. So, it's a learning lesson. It sucks. I understand why Heupel is upset about it. And I think the NCAA was trying to grab too much by saying, hey, we actually want 3 games. And then Tennessee got it down to 2. Like, and the biggest thing that I do to wrap this part up is you're also punishing the player because they have a primetime game against Georgia Tech that he's not going to be able to be a part of. So you're taking, here's how I put it to somebody the other day. If Tennessee wanted to, they could have taken this to court in Knoxville and had an injunction granted, and he would be playing the first 2 games of the year. They decided no more court cases right now. Let's just see what happens. So I do give credit to Tennessee for not taking this thing to court when everybody else and their mother is going to court nowadays.
I wish they would have done like the whole Sharon Moore thing and like let him pick which 2 games they want. Oh, no, it's going to be Furman and Kennesaw State, but he's going to play for Georgia Tech. Look, it's a bummer. It is what it is. Maybe we adjust the rules moving forward. All right, let's get into these quarterback battles. Remember, SEC Football Live brought to you by East Nashville Beer Works, right there in East Nashville, as well as in Wilson County, which is out there on 109 between Lebanon and Mount Juliet. Yeah. It's a cathedral to beer. It's a cathedral to family and community and hanging out. The beer is great. The food is great. They got it upstairs out there on. Out there in Wilson County, they've got the adults only upstairs. They got the putting green. They've got a climbing gym. They've got a dog park. They got a drop-down screen. It is a great place in the fall to go watch SEC football on Saturday. Your Tennessee Titans or whoever it is you root for on Sundays, go check it out. It'll be great. I promise you. East Nashville Beer Works in East is great as well. They got the projection screen. They got the dog park, the playground, the whole deal. Beer is community. Go check out East Nashville Beer Works. Okay, you're in Knoxville. George MacIntyre and Faizon Brandon. Amazing that Tennessee is in a position to have like a multiple 5-star players battling for the starting job. This is what you wanted when you hired Josh Heupel. Is I am a quarterback whisperer. I have an offense that every quarterback wants to play in. We are able to attract attention. Last year was this strange blip because of the Nico situation, but they made it work with Joey Aguilar. But Nico was the first of the big names. These are the next two. And they continue to attract high-level talent. Is it almost too much talent here? Because George MacIntyre was the presumed favorite to be the starting quarterback, and he's probably the more consistent thrower of the football at this moment in time. But the rumors you're hearing is just that the upside and the raw ability of Brandon is just too much to keep off the field. So it's going to be, I think, a heated battle all the way to week 1 against Furman. But you were there in Knoxville. Did you get any tea leaves? Did you read any writing on the wall? What did we learn by wandering around the facility and poking around where you're not supposed to?
Kind of the same thing that I learned 2.5 months ago, that Brandon has a lot of upside to him. And if he goes out and performs over the next 4 weeks of camp, I could see by Georgia Tech weekend, second weekend of the year, that he's the starting quarterback as they roll down there. Now that's I'm not taking shots at MacIntyre. I want folks to understand that. I think that MacIntyre is going to have to hold up during camp, which I don't think is going to be a problem. I just feel like he is getting a lot of pressure from Brandon, and there could be a scenario where, yes, they roll out 2 starters for game 1 against Furman. And then you got to make a decision when you go to Georgia Tech, because you can't lose that football game. Like, and even at that, I just don't feel like they can go down there and play that Georgia Tech defense and be rotating quarterbacks for the first half in the second half. I think you have to make a decision where you go, look, if something doesn't work out, fine. If you're going to start MacIntyre and then all of a sudden things go south, like, you got to go stick with one. You can't be flip-flopping. This is not like a scenario where Joe Milton and Hendon Hooker from years ago. You know what I mean? So it's here we go.
It worked out. Hey, that worked out just fine.
No, it worked out fine. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I get that part, but we're also talking about an 18 and a 19-year-old young man, and they're being thrown into it. And I do think I'll tell you what I was like surprised about. And I'm going to go old school reference here. Looking at Faizon, I was like, that's a 22-year-old body. Like that young man came in ready to go. Like, so I think that he'll be able to hold up fine. I think it's the offense. And I'm not really worried about him when it comes to offensive scheme, because he's had the system in his back pocket, meaning he's had an opportunity to do this for a year and a half. So yeah, there is a lot of excitement. Heupel's not tipping his hand. Joey Halsey's not going to tip their hand. But from the folks that I have spoken with, there's a lot of upside with Brandon. I'm fascinated to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
They'll have their first scrimmage in, I think, 11 days. And then they'll roll into their final one. So, yeah, it's going to be a fascinating quarterback battle.
Is it not if you wanted to go like sort of full on predictable here, you'd say, look, George MacIntyre is going to start game 1, but they're both going to play a ton.
Yeah.
And by the end of that game, the idea is you hope to know who's the best one, because you don't have just the game, you have all of camp and then the game. And I agree. I think you need to have somebody in place for Georgia Tech. I don't think that stops you from making a change. Like if George MacIntyre plays well, he gets the start, he plays well, Faizon goes in, plays well, but they stick with MacIntyre for the sake of continuity against Georgia Tech. It doesn't stop you from changing in week 3 against Kennesaw State or, before you go into the SEC. So my expectation is MacIntyre starts week 1, Faizon takes over at some point. Is that as early as the second half of game 1? Is that as early as week 2? Is that the SEC opener in week 4? Like, I don't know what that is, but my expectation is that Brandon will be the starting quarterback. And
the bona fide starting quarterback by Kennesaw State to get him ready for the Longhorns that will be coming to Knoxville.
Yeah, that's right. And I look, I know this is going to be this is like they're
set on offensive line. They're set at running back. They have really good wide receivers. Tight end's going to be fine. Like they have the support system around him to make it happen.
This is also a extremely random observation, but I think the national media and even some of the regional media are going to have a hard time knowing what his first name is. Just because Faizon Brandon sounds like his name is backwards.
No, it's Faizon.
No, I know, but wasn't there a player named Brandon Faizon in college football? I'm almost positive there was.
Yeah. Hell, you threw me off in the spring when I was like Faizon, and then you said something.
Oh, because I was saying his first name. That's what I'm saying. I probably was messing it up.
Right, and then I got confused, thinking I was doing something wrong, and it was actually your ass that was.
Was he not Did he not play for like Florida? I thought there was a player who played for Florida like 10 years ago.
There's a Faizon. I don't know if it was. I'm trying to remember.
I'm pretty positive it was Brandon Faizon, but I'm not sure.
I'm running on 2 super coffees today, so bear with me.
I'm doing some quick Googling and I'm not finding it, so maybe I'm wrong.
You need to get some more sleep.
Yeah, well, that's true. I went to bed at 2 a.m. That's the problem. Okay, so Tennessee, I imagine Faizon. I imagine Brandon takes over. See, I just did it again. I imagine Brandon takes over at some point during very early portion of the season. That would be my guess there. All right, let's go to Alabama. Keelon Russell, Austin Mack. A similar dynamic here between slightly different but similar dynamic because obviously Austin Mack is more experienced, probably more consistent, probably more predictable, and of course was with Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer at Washington, so he knows the system quite well. It's a little bit of a Milroe-Simpson dynamic as well because you have the athlete who's got a ton of athletic ability and upside, and then you've got the more dependable kind of pocket passer, a little bit more with Austin Mack. Keelon Russell, from what I understand, has about a 60-40, 65-35 chance at taking the job. It's sort of like Brandon at Tennessee. If he's just too good, you have to probably get him into the game as soon as possible. So maybe Alabama starts with Austin Mack and is working Russell in quite frequently, and then they have a decision to make. But I also could just see Russell winning the job outright very quickly, like the second week of camp.
I don't think this is going to be a financial decision either. I don't care how much money they paid for Keelon to be in Tuscaloosa. I think this obviously is going to come down to whatever the staff is comfortable with. And I also I keep kind of fearing that too, that, this is a horse race and Keelon Russell is, just a nose ahead heading into this. Now, look, again, the next 4 weeks is going to tell us a lot. And then the first 2 games of the season, obviously going to tell us a lot. I'm not going to like I've heard really good things about Austin Mack. And then at the same time, you understand that Keelon Russell kind of brings a different upside to the whole equation. So you're making a decision, not off a hunch. Like, these guys get paid a lot of money, the coaches, to make this call. But at the same time, going into this, I look at it as I would really like to see what Keelon Russell brings. First, I know I'm going to see him probably in some form or fashion, but I would like to see him as the starting quarterback and see what he can do with the job. Kalen DeBoer and this staff, a very offensive staff, and I mean that in a football realm, they're going to make the right call because of the offense that they run. and they're going to need their quarterback at times to get out of the pocket as well and make plays, because it reminds me of what they did with Michael Penix Jr. During that year at Washington when they made the run for the national championship. Like, you want that dual type of quarterback.
I find the Alabama situation generally fascinating. They're picked. I think they were picked 6th by the media. We'll get to the coaches poll here in a second.
The travesty.
But like, I just think it's a good place, actually. Yeah. If I'm Keelon DeBoer, if I'm this quarterback, one of these two guys, the fans probably don't like that, but I think it's an interesting and I think good place for the program to be coming into a season where expectations are lower on the quarterback. Focus is lower on the team from a national championship perspective. That obviously there's lots of pressure on Keelon DeBoer by the fans, but the outside conversation with fans, media, experts, etc., is like, hey, Keelon DeBoer's a really good coach. Alabama fans are crazy. No big deal. Let's see what happens. Like, I don't feel a lot of heat from the outside looking in on Alabama. That's mostly internally produced by the Alabama fan base, in my opinion. So I think and if you look at the schedule for Alabama, I know we've talked about this, but I cannot remember an easier schedule for Alabama to start, because their big non-con game is Florida State. It's at home, and Florida State's way down. They start with Kentucky and South Carolina and Mississippi State, which South Carolina at home, Dylan Stewart, you need a quarterback who knows how to manage the offensive line. I'm not saying that South Carolina can't win that game, but East Carolina in week 1 in a non-con, you got your first 3 SEC games, Kentucky, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and then Florida State, your big non-con game is at home, and as I mentioned, they're down. That 5, that's as easy a start to the season as I can remember for an Alabama football team.
And Florida State game, give us all a date.
September 19th.
Right, yeah. So you've got technically 3 games to get this thing figured out, in a sense.
You think South Carolina? I mean, I also, my brain went to South Carolina with some of the upside talent that they have. But
I don't disagree. I can go back and forth. I don't think Florida State is going to be an absolute pushover. But
none of these are bad teams. No, but that's what makes it good for Alabama, I think.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. And you're just overlooking the Pirates, so that's on you.
Yeah, just shitting all over them.
Right.
No big deal. No big deal.
They'll have a little bit of time here, but again, I think it's going to be Keelon. That's just my personal opinion. Or you can just go with the veteran thing and say, hey, this is kind of how we're going to roll it first, and then we'll make the call. So
your prediction is George MacIntyre week 1 for Tennessee and Keelon Russell week 1 for Alabama, right?
And that's and see, like I oh man,
it's not a negative, dude. You don't have to agonize about it.
It's not a negative. It's just like the Tennessee thing where I think they're going to play both of them. So like, who do I think takes the first snap of the game? George MacIntyre against Furman.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right, let's get to the Florida Gators. I want to mention this one just for the sake of making sure we mention it, because it's not necessarily a quarterback battle, but I do think Trammel Jones Jr., the freshman, is kind of pushing for some time. Aaron Philo, of course, transfers from Georgia Tech with Buster Faulkner, comes along and joins John Summerall's new coaching staff. A lot of run about this Florida team being a sleeper for the playoff and all this other stuff, and you and I are both very, very high. I want to say John Summerall's 43-12 as a head coach. Like, his numbers are just ridiculous, and they are good right away. They have a great running game to support this quarterback. I cannot imagine it's not Aaron Philo, but tell me what you know about Jones and why he might be in the mix here.
Yeah, because you're getting a different flavor of quarterback with Trammel Jones compared to Aaron Philo, and I think at the same time, here's the thing: like when you move with a coordinator, obviously the first thing you think of is, okay, there's the heads up. You kind of know the system. You're going to get into it. You should be able to run this thing without a hitch at Florida. But I do think with Jones, it presents an opportunity where maybe you're able to space things out a little bit in this Faulkner offense compared to Aaron. But I'd still go back to it. I don't have much argument on this one. I think that there's an opportunity maybe later in the season if it presents itself for Jones, but I think this is going to be Philo's job.
Yeah.
Personally.
I really don't think it's a long conversation.
No. And it goes a long way in knowing what you're doing in the system that you're running. But you're brought in, they can try to disguise it if they want, Braden. No, we're giving everybody a fair shot here. That's fine. But I kind of have a feeling of where this one's going, and Florida will be set at quarterback, and let's see what Buster can do with it.
And this is about predicting who starts the season, which
right.
is
Not
I think
who finishes the season.
That's right. I think it's unequivocally Aaron Philo, but the number of times people like you and I and all other talking heads have, hey, this is the presumed starting quarterback who's clearly going to take over. We know he's talented, we know he's good, and we're just going to assume that he's going to be good. That's not what we're doing here. We're assuming that he's clearly going to be the starting quarterback week 1 against Florida Atlantic. They play Campbell in week 2. And so what they need at Auburn in week 3, they need to figure it out by week 3. That's all. It doesn't matter if there's a chance, because this has happened, John Brantley, it's happened.
Oh, good gosh, you went there. Okay.
I'm just saying there's tons of examples of quarterbacks that we are all like, oh yeah, he's obviously the starter. We think he's going to be good. And what you have is a guy who gets the start and it's just not there. It doesn't hit, he don't hit. And so if for whatever reason it does not work, you've got 2 weeks to figure that out, to get to Jones, get him ready for a road trip to Auburn. That will be more complicated.
You're also not having to make a move like with DJ Lagway, where Billy was sitting around, waiting to see if we're going to play DJ, to give a little excitement to the fan base and whatnot. So, I think they're fine. John Summerall's got time. You don't have to excite the fan base because you're going to go play this other guy. Yeah, Aaron Philo's the guy, and that trip to Auburn will be very fascinating. By the way, side note, I'd be pissed if I was a season ticket holder and those are the first 2 games of the season that I had to sit through. Just being the Debbie Downer.
Fair enough.
Oh, you mean Campbell's coming to town? Cool. I'm going to get there 5 hours early to get my tailgating on for that big raucous game that's going to happen.
I feel like Campbell should bring he should bring all of his other teammates to the game too. I don't know. All right. Yazoo Brewing Company. Look, I'm a father, Trey. You're not a dad. You're not allowed to make those jokes. I'm allowed to make those jokes.
That was good.
You need more than one player to beat Florida. I'm just saying. Yazoo Brewing Company, of course, right there in Madison, up on the river. You can sit on a park bench. You can drink a cold Dos Perros. You can eat a Grill Shack burger. You can bring your dog, and you can bring your kids. You don't have any. I'll bring my kids. And you eat good food. You drink good beer.
Kids? Wow. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Look, we all went to college, and so. You are from LA after all. You never know.
Exactly.
Look, Yazoo Brewing Company is a great place to go hang out. That's it. Great place to watch games. They got the new projection screen. All these breweries have the projection screens now that you can watch great stuff. They've had.
It's gonna be one of my first stops when I get to town. They're gonna be Thursday night, weird preseason NFL nonsense. I'm gonna go watch some of that, and probably week 1. Week 0.
Week 0. There you go. They've got. Is that North Carolina, TCU, and Ireland? Is that right?
Yeah, but then filled with a bunch of other horrible football games.
Oh, but it's football, man. It's bad.
No. It's dude. I'm good. Just give me some football. But this NFL preseason nonsense, I just don't care.
No, nobody cares about preseason football. I do love the fact that being on.
Beck is going to play.
Because I cover the Titans a lot too, and so being at practice all week this week has been refreshing because they finally put pads on, and so seeing football players do football things for the first time with actual pads on Monday it just warms my heart, man. It just gets me going. I'm ready to go. I almost started clapping. And it wasn't even a play. I was just like, yes, let's go. Let's practice with pads on.
There's always something going on in not the media with the Titans, but it just feels like there's just, I don't know. I'm not going to go there. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yazoo Brewing Company is where you're going to go. You are going to go there. Okay. So let's get to Vanderbilt here. So Jared Curtis is the number 1 quarterback, whatever, in the country. He's committed to Georgia. He switches to Vanderbilt, gets a really big payday to go to Vanderbilt. He's the heir apparent to Diego Pavia. I have been saying since the second that happened, Trey, that he will not be the starting quarterback for Vanderbilt. Blaze Berlowitz, which might be the best named quarterback in all of America, came with the New Mexico State staff many years ago with Diego Pavia and Jared Kill and Tim Beck and all these guys and Eli Stowers. And he is in line to start the season, in my opinion. I think he will be the starting quarterback for Vanderbilt. week 1, and that's what we're talking about here. The question is, when does Jared Curtis's processing get him onto the field? And honestly, I think NC State could actually be sneaky this year, but they'll play them in week 3. They got Austin P in Delaware. You got to – I don't know if Curtis is ready by the NC State game. You go at Auburn, at Georgia, Ole Miss. Holy smokes. I'm not sure you want him out there for that if he's not ready. So maybe you wait until Arkansas at home, at Kentucky, Mississippi State, that 3-game stretch for Jared Curtis. I don't know. Now, I also don't believe that you can, like, murder a quarterback's confidence. Like, this whole thing, and I don't know, like, I don't know about you, but talking to old coaches at the beginning of my career and all through, like, the first 10 years of my career, there's this idea that, like, you got to ease him in to make sure he's in a confident situation so that he can – you don't want to break his confidence if he throws some interceptions. And I'm always like, you can break a player physically if he's not ready. Like, you can break his legs. You could give him concussions. He could physically be broken by being put out there too soon. But if your confidence is broken as a quarterback in the SEC because you had a bad game or threw some interceptions or struggled with a really good defense, then you ain't QB1, dog. Like, that's just reality. So I don't care about the confidence. It's about, I think the other guy gives you a better chance to win games to start the year. And so I think Berlowitz is the starter. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Curtis until Arkansas at home in the middle of the season.
Wild to me, man. Like, I get it, but how far are we going to get down the road in the game where you're letting a quarterback who's making a really, 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 really nice chunk of money sit on the sidelines for the future? Like, there's a part of me that says, hey, by NC State, throw him to the Wolves and let's see what happens. Like, we're not expecting Vanderbilt to be a 10-win team this year. But we are expecting Vanderbilt to continue causing problems in the SEC for teams. Like, I think they're going to be formidable. That stretch you mentioned is tough. I completely understand that. From what I can gather, and mind you, I went over there and spoke with coaches and whatnot early in the summer. Obviously, Jared Curtis is the future. I agree with you, though, in a sense of, you better make sure your offensive line is shored up before you're going to put in an 18-year-old quarterback that could take a beating. But I also look at it and I think if he's good and he's ready to go and he's showing you promise, like, there's obviously a risk, but at the same time, I think you can build some confidence up in the first 2 games of the year. Like, I'm back and forth on this. I don't disagree with you about Berlowitz. I think he's going to be the starting quarterback for the opening 2 weeks of the season. But at some point, what happens when you got to what if Berlowitz gets hurt? Like, you got to throw in Curtis. And what if that happens playing Georgia or Auburn? Like, so.
You gotta give him chances. You got to give him some reps. You got to give him time. All this stuff. I'm just saying, I don't know if it is exclusively about his processing.
Yes.
From what I understand, this is exclusively about, like, the game is so, because when you play so we played at Nashville Christian, which is here in Nashville, and I know how that, when you play at that level, you are going against a lot of players who will never play college football. It's
like
just
what Arch Manning did in high school.
Maybe I don't know as much about that. I know about Nashville high school football.
I'm telling you, yeah.
And like, the size of the players, the speed of the players, the complexities of the defenses, it's just not the same as playing, like, I don't know,
Baylor or Brentwood, or
it's not the same as, winning 2 state championships at a high level in North Carolina, for example. Like, right. It's just different. It's not that Tennessee football isn't solid in places. It's just in his division, it is not. There's like 2 good teams basically, and so the question is, like, it's not his fault necessarily. It's kind of what I'm getting at, that, like, he isn't necessarily prepared to read and execute and process a high level SEC defense, which, by the way, again, is going to be on the road against Auburn, on the road against Georgia, and at home against Ole Miss. Like, Georgia might be the best defense in America. Auburn is a incredibly hostile environment, and Ole Miss is a playoff team potentially. So I think I think it's unfair to ask him to be ready to win those types of games, be competitive in those games. I just don't think that's fair to ask him to do that. That's all.
I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree with you, but knowing the defenses that he's going to be going up against, like there could be a time where he's just thrown to the wolves anyways, no matter what, and so you have to accept reality. So I continue giving him time. That's fine. Get him in the first 2 games of the year. The NC State game, in my opinion, is going to be tough for Vanderbilt, and there's potential for an opportunity. I just continue to go back and say, you're not bringing in these guys and spending a lot of money and not doing it technically out of the portal per se if you don't throw them to the wolves kind of immediately. And again, that sucks. But what did Bryce Underwood learn, at Michigan in year 1? It's like, so I get both sides of it. We're in agreement here.
Yeah,
Berlowitz is going to be the starter. Jared Curtis, we will see him.
We'll see him. That's right.
Yeah.
And I think Bryce Underwood was much further along in that department. That's the key.
Don't disagree.
Also, supporting cast, which, by the way, at Vanderbilt is better than it's ever been replacing a starting quarterback, is still not close to Michigan's supporting cast, for what it's worth.
No, and I'm not trying.
And their coach went to jail. And their coach went to jail.
I was going through old photos last night. I was kind of cleaning out my album, getting ready for the season, and I came across Sharon Moore. Whatever. Let's take 2 seconds. Sharon Moore, after they beat Ohio State in 2024, and he's walking off the field and he's blowing kisses to the fans. And I'm like, I really want to post this right now, but I don't know how insensitive that would be.
I don't think it's insensitive.
No, it was.
I mean, it's Twitter. Have you been on Twitter? Ain't nobody got any sensitivity towards anybody.
Cesspool, an absolute cesspool on Twitter. I have grown to stay away from it now. Like I think our online discourse is in trouble, Trey. Yeah, I'm over here on Threads hanging out, seeing all these fake accounts.
I refuse to join that one because it's like, man, I already got enough of them. I don't need another one.
Well, it's just I can't do it. That's all it is. Like,
I know.
With the thread, and then Blue Sky or Blueski, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Blueski's also annoying too. So,
like, I go over there and hang out for a second. I'm like, all right, I got to get off here. I guess I got to go back to X.
Not to devolve this conversation before we talk about Arkansas.
I don't care.
But at the end of the day, if honestly, Twitter is still the best place to have like a second screen experience during a game, shared conversation with people. The problem is if Elon ever just like turned the moderation back on or sold it to somebody who would turn the moderation back on, it would go right back to being the place where we all wanted to hang out. Like it is still by far the best microblogging place on earth. And it's like, man, you guys are literally hurting your own market value if you just put some content moderation in place to keep like the porn bots and the Nazis out of our bar. We'd go back to the bar and hang out there all the time.
Like I go to my For You page and I haven't done all this stuff, but how did this stuff get on my For You page?
No, you don't go to For You, Trey. That's the problem, dude. Never go to For You.
Right.
Never go to For You. Just go.
I know.
Just go to
trending or recent.
Just go to following
your pages. Right. No, I know that. I'm just saying sometimes you got to go to the dark side, and I go to the For You, and I'm like, how the hell did I get here? Please get me out.
Don't do that.
It's like, hey, watch the Odyssey, the full movie on Twitter or Spider-Man.
All right.
Or check out this OF fans account.
Tennessee Brew Works, East Nashville Beer Works, Yazoo Brewing Company, real life, amazing places to hang out and be in community with other people, drink cold beer, and talk about fun things unlike Twitter. All right, Arkansas, last one here. KJ Jackson, AJ Hill. AJ Hill is the guy who was at Memphis and transferred, of course, with Ryan Silverfield. Played, I think he had 30-ish attempts last year as a quarterback. KJ Jackson, of course, only has one start under his belt. He's a big dude, can run around. I think KJ Jackson is the favorite here, but this is one of those, honestly, Trey, of all of them, I think they largely settle on a single name somewhere. This is the one of these 5 battles that I think could just go back and forth the entire year. They could just I don't know what to expect out of these two players because I don't think we know there's too much inexperience between any of these two guys to understand what's going to happen. And Arkansas's schedule, by the way, not fun early. So
hit me. Give me the first 4 for people out there.
Oh, that okay. So that you need to hear. Okay,
No, I just for the fans up
North
there.
Alabama. That's an easy one into the schedule. At Utah at altitude on the road. Georgia at home. Tulsa is okay. You should play well in that game. But then you got at Texas A&M and Tennessee. Like the first 6 games are brutal. So
That's a maybe a 1-win team. Don't overlook Tulsa. I'm just saying, like, don't overlook Tulsa. Like maybe that's a 1-win, 2-win team coming out of that stretch. Godspeed. I think they're about to play the swinging door here with Jackson and Hill. I think they're both going to play, and they're going to try to figure out by midway through the season who they're comfortable with. I'm not sleeping on Silverfield. Like, I do think he's a very good coach. I just think his roster is going to be a problem for him this season, and that's fine. Rotate your quarterbacks, figure out who fits the system better than the other, and if you don't, go back and try again. It's kind of what I feel like about Arkansas football this year. No disrespect. Love the fan base, love the staff, but the talent on the roster, you're going to have to up it up a little bit. Yeah. And they also have a 31-year-old wide receiver named Monty Harrison, who played 10 years of professional baseball, and he will be back out there, which I love that story. But I still say, how the hell can Arion Carter be punished for taking money from a pro agent, but we have guys that go play professional sports for 10 years and then come back to college? Make it make sense, please.
Well, that's illegal now moving forward. This is the last time, right?
Well, I get that because the 5 and 5, and you can't be over a certain age. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, make it make sense.
No, there's no way to make sense. The beauty of college football is it's never made sense. That's kind of like the beauty of it. Like, that's some of the imperfections are what make it a fun sport to follow and be a part of.
You know what else that I've learned over the last week? There are coaching staffs around the country and compliance departments that are freaking the hell out about this Colorado judge ruling that giving blanket waivers to 2022 players. And
didn't Indiana?
Yeah, they added Stephen Daly back to their roster.
Yeah,
which is good for them to take advantage of the rule. But what I'm saying is,
that's right.
These coaches are very hesitant to add a player, knowing that an appeal could happen next week. NCAA can win on appeal, and then the player is no longer eligible. Like, it is a tricky slope here, and so Godspeed.
Yeah, I hear you.
Tennessee was kicking the tires.
We're not allowed. No, this is an episode. I
know that. Just thought I would throw that out there.
You're contractually obligated to mention it one time, but that's it. No more on this episode. Okay, you can talk about at NCAA weird judges and lawsuits and courtrooms one time. I'll give it to you one time, and that's it. This is a football show about football stuff.
I'm just trying to protect college sports. Like what I did there.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Thank you. I was just seeing if it landed.
Yeah. It's better than my joke.
Stop calling me Ted Cruz. All right,
Ted Cruz is calling you?
Dude, it's been a weird 2 months.
Oh, he's had some other interesting things to say the last couple of weeks.
I give credit to whatever. This is not a
no. Like, look, here's my thing about politics in general is, like, I don't care if we disagree on 9 things. I'll work with you on 1. That's all I care about. It's like, whatever our goal is, are we gonna get something accomplished here around college athletics? It sounds like they are, but I don't know how long it's gonna hold up. But again, we've now ventured into this conversation. I was gonna ask you, what other, like, camp storylines are you, like, South Carolina's offensive line, for example? I want to know what the reports are like coming out of South Carolina camp about their offensive line. I want to know about the running game at places like Oklahoma, Alabama, and LSU. Like, there's just certain things that I can't wait to see as camp starts to unfold. And it's fun to see all these. You're seeing all these reporters that are watching practice finally because camps are opening up this week. And it's just, football's finally back, my guy. So I'm excited.
You know what? And it's not because I was on campus yesterday or whatnot. This could be one of the best offensive lines for Tennessee they've had in quite some time. I'm not trying to make that a stretch or anything like that. Just something that
they got a couple of pretty good players in the NFL right now playing that were on the same offensive line. Wasn't Trey Smith and Darnell Wright on the same line?
Yeah, and Wanye Morris.
Yeah, that's right.
That's another video I came across last night. Like, Trey Smith, like, trying to hype Wanye Morris up before the Gator Bowl down in Jacksonville years ago.
What year is that? Like 2019? What year was that? 2020?
2021?
2021?
Pruitt's second year. Speaking of Pruitt, Talk to him
Go
today.
ahead. You talked to him today?
The other day.
Oh, the other day. How's he doing? Does he still like asparagus?
Sounds like he's doing good. I'm still kind of agitated with the NCAA. That case is still going on. We're going to see if the Supreme Court in Alabama stays with that case.
Now you're in a courtroom. There you go.
No, it's always weird, kind of just like when JP will just text you out of nowhere with something, and you're like,
you just like bragging about your Rolodex. That's what you like doing.
No, it's not a Rolodex. Do you remember what happened 5 years ago? Like, it's not a Rolodex.
Yeah, I do.
The book is in play. So many fun stories about that.
Like, here's the thing. If you go to Yazoo Brewing Company and you go to that brewery up on the river and you order a burger and fries, it will not come in a bag. That's what I'm saying. It won't come in a bag. It'll come.
Hey, you gotta go to Chick-fil-A to get that.
Or no free shouts. Other trashy international chain restaurants that have burgers in bags.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. You can get it in a basket.
It comes like a real burger and fries, not like in a bag. It comes in a plate or a tray where you can sit down and eat it at Yazoo Brewing Company.
Right. I wouldn't be able to eat that and then just throw $5,000 into it afterwards.
No. Everyone would see the money. Yeah, they'd all see the money.
Exactly right. Good. That's a great point. Great point.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Of course it was a great point. David Sanders, he's pretty good.
It was so funny seeing his photo yesterday from like the team photo they took. Like everybody else has like a straight face and he's just up there just smiling, just living life. So, I would be.
Yeah. I think Tennessee could be. I'm coming around on Tennessee being sneaky good. I still think in the big games it depends on the quarterback play, and we still don't know what that's going to look like, even if they're both very, very, very talented. So,
yeah,
we'll see.
Here's pieces of the defense have to be put together. But go ahead.
Tennessee, Florida, Vanderbilt. Who's better this year?
Oh man,
Alabama's the best team of this group. I think.
I think Tennessee offensively would take the step from me, to be honest with you.
Over Florida. You're big on Florida too.
I am big on Florida. I know that. So it's really a tough decision. I mean, I would I like Jaden Ball. Whatever. That's a hard decision to make. I would, if you had to ask me right now, I would say Tennessee, but I think Florida's toe in toe with them.
I'm so glad though that in week 3 or 4 of the season that we're going to settle this on the field between Florida and Tennessee.
Right, exactly. No, like what are we doing in college football?
The first time,
dumbassery,
since I moved to the state of Tennessee in 1996. This will be the first time that my alma mater does not play the Florida Gators.
Yeah, because I was like looking at the schedule. I was like, okay, what games would be worthwhile coming back here, to cover? Because I'm trying to figure out my schedule for the year and whatnot. I mean, and also where the hell I'm going to work. But at the same time, Texas and LSU were like the 2 big home games. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, Arch Manning, and then the other one, Lane Kiffin. Okay, let's see.
I mean, no, I get it. I just think Florida. When I think so, here's one of the exercises that you as a listener can do on this. If I were to play the CBS on SEC on CBS theme song, if I were to play that, there is one game that comes into everyone's mind. And a lot of it is decided when you were probably in middle school and high school and who was great at that time. And when I hear the CBS theme song with the SEC music, the very first game that comes to my mind is Florida, Tennessee. But that's because I was in middle school and high school when Florida and Tennessee were not only competing for the East, but for the SEC championship and many times for the national championship. And so when I think, like, if you grew up in the 2000s, you might think Florida, Georgia when you hear that music. Or now if you were growing up and you heard that music before it changed over to ESPN, you might think Bama, Georgia. Like, I don't know what people think when they like. If you grew up in the 70s or 80s, it might be something different. Tennessee, Alabama, I don't know. But for me, the number one game in the conference, not for Tennessee, but in the conference, was Florida, Tennessee. So I'm a little bummed.
I think it's maybe because I grew up in the state and like all my friends would watch. It's like LSU, Alabama type of thing. Like, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, Tennessee, Florida lines up.
Yep. All right, check
By
out.
the way, they should have just paid. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off there. The college football fans in the SEC should have just come up with like a subscription plan to have CBS do every pregame intro and just make it subscription based and put it on YouTube. They can use old clips, and I would have paid for that, by the way, because I saw one the other night from LSU versus Alabama. I think it was 2004, 2005. I wanted to run through a wall. So shout out to SEC on CBS. Salute for what you did.
There you go. No question about it. Trey, where can everybody find your work?
I'm sorry. Find me at Fox. Yeah, I got a little bit of breaking news here.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, and it's Congress, but that sucks. But whatever. I'm just going to tell you.
All right, the moratorium. The moratorium is over.
Senate Majority Leader Toon did file cloture on the motion to proceed with the Protect College Sports Act of 2026. Meaning they're going to get this thing to a vote this week.
Yeah, it'll go to vote.
They're going to try. Yeah. So there's your news. Follow me at outkick.com, Fox News, at Trey Wallace on underscore.
How many senators are alive right now? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But here we
Is it 98? Is it 99? Is it 100? I don't know.
Yep.
We shouldn't make jokes.
There you go.
Big Blue Nation, let's go. Okay, follow Trey on the socials. Follow him on the website. Read all his work everywhere you can get OutKick and Trey and all that great stuff. Listen to all the other great shows across the 440 Sports Network. If you're coming to Tennessee and you're coming to Middle Tennessee and you're an SEC fan, please check out one of our 3 great partners, Tennessee Brew Works, East Nashville Beer Works, and Yazoo. That's downtown. That's East Nashville. That's Wilson County out by Lebanon and Mount Juliet and up in Madison. So we got you covered all over the mid-state area. So if you're coming to town, please check them out. I promise you will not be disappointed. Support good local breweries. It's an important part of our community, so please support them. We do appreciate it. For Trey, I'm Braden. Thank you for listening. Football is back, my guy. Football is back, and we'll be back next week. Can't wait to do it. We'll have a week of action and camp to discuss. Otherwise, have a great weekend, everybody, and we will talk to you next time.